Scott, why don't you go ahead and take over and show Ventura?
Okay, is anyone running the betas on any hardware right now?
No.
Good, you shouldn't. It's beta. Apologize for the coughing. So anyways, it's beta software. It's actually been very stable. I've been running it since I think the first public beta came out on my main production machine, but only because I kind of know what I'm doing. And I've been okay with it. There are some things that break that I can't do, like dictation seems to break for no apparent reason. And I'm kind of a big user of dictation. There's also some little things that act flaky, but overall, I think it's actually been pretty good. If you want to learn a lot more details about everything, you should definitely go to the Apple Mac OS Ventura preview. They have a lot of detail on the different features. I'm going to just hit a lot of these things really quick. I probably won't hit everything perfectly. If you think I'm missing something, scream it out and I'll try and cover it. I'm going to try and show you some demos of it, but it is a little bit beta, so it may work, it may not. We'll see as we dive in here. And some of it is just tricky to find. I was going to say, why might you, is a reason that you might want to, okay, first of all, Ventura will probably be available around October. There's supposedly going to be an announcement about another like Apple get together this October. I don't know when. It'll probably be on a Tuesday though. And that's probably when they'll actually release Mac OS Ventura for Mac OS. You're getting a little bit of it right now if you have a phone updated to the latest iOS. If you run an iOS 16, a lot of these features are available there. And you'll see more of it, and you can use them there, but they don't really work with anything else. Why update? I think if you have production computers, there may not be a reason to update right now. If you're getting your work done and everything works fine, you probably want to leave it there until they get into a couple versions of Mac OS Ventura and then think about updating. I don't think you want to wreck your world right now by just updating just because you have to have the latest and greatest. But I definitely think that the features that they're incorporating into this are going to be really advantageous, especially to work with like your iPhone and your, you'll be able to do everything on different devices and send that information into your devices really easily. It's got a lot of cool features like that. So let's dive in. I think the number one concept with Mac OS Ventura is this just, it's really more of the integration of iOS devices with the Mac desktop. So they're coming together more and more. Apple said this would never happen, but it almost doesn't make any more sense right now because they have the whole M1 chip architecture on the desktops, which in a lot of ways are the same chips that are in your iPhone or your iPad Pro. I think this gives Apple a huge advantage to be able to integrate the operating system and features into all the devices across everything automatically, kind of like you just work it in one and it knows about all your other devices and you can use things from that. So I think that's really where Apple sees this going is, you'll maybe have a desktop Mac for high powered production stuff, and you have an iPad Pro or a phone to go on the road and do what you need to do. And then how everything kind of works. One of the things I will say that I think of as a negative on Ventura is it's been hard for me to figure out how to use some of these features because they work differently on the Mac than they might on the phone or vice versa, that kind of thing. Okay, so we might as well get into it. The reason we're using Mac Spike's MacBook Pro is because it has an M1 chip. There are a few features that you can't get in Ventura if you have an Intel machine. There also might be some features, but I'm not sure of this, that aren't available if you have an older Intel machine, okay? So they are there are some layers to some of the features, but as far as I can tell, the only 3 features that won't work on Intel machines are the following. Live caption. So now in Ventura, and maybe we could do this on Spikes, I don't even know. But if you're watching a movie on YouTube or anything or whatever it is, you should be able to turn on live capture and get the closed captioning right on the screen along with it. I think it'll work for Zoom and other stuff as well. Okay. How you turn it on, I have not been able to figure out. So I apologize for that. We'll take a look for that later when I get to system settings, the new system setting preferences. Also, things that won't work on Intel. Emoji support in dictation mode. So I think if you said something like, she was a happy puppy, when you're in dictation mode, it will automatically show you a possible option to use an emoji in those to say like happy and pop and puppy. You know, you can use a little puppy face or a little smiley face. So that won't work on an Intel Mac, but will work on an M1 Pro. Also, reference mode with Sidecar. So reference mode with Sidecar is a way that when you're editing videos, you can use your MacBook Pro with the really good, 5K screen as a reference color monitor for what you're doing on your larger screen that isn't as good. Does that make sense to people out there? There's probably more people out there that understand that than me.
I got it.
You got it? So it's just a cool way that you can have a second screen that will let you do reference mode with your video. So I think that's really that might be a really good selling point for video people because they only have to buy one good screen on a powerful MacBook. But again, if you use Windows, you probably never want to buy a MacBook Pro. Is that correct?
That would have to be Sarah to respond to
It's
that
not
one.
that I never want to use it. It's just,
I know. I'm just teasing.
by the way,
So-
my computer's too old to get Windows 11.
Is it? That's was my guess. You would have been nagged about it like 50 times if you had the capability. So those are like the three things that won't work on an Intel Mac that are in Ventura: live captions, emoji support in dictation mode, and reference mode with Sidecar. So there might be some other ones too, but I don't know what's been published yet or what's been truly figured out. So you want to see some of the stuff that we can do? It's all,
Yeah.
I don't know how much this stuff applies to desktop professionals, but there are some cool things in here that might just make life a little bit easier. So let's get started. Center stage. This is the big one that everyone's been talking about. So when Center Stage first came out, everyone said this is revolutionary. It'll work on your iPad and it'll work on Ventura. It's a Windows management system that Apple's building into everything. When it first came out, everyone was like, oh, this is game changing. Now that it's been out for a little while, people seem to really be putting some negative spins on it. Like it's not all that great or whatever. I think your mileage will vary and you should really try it out for yourself, but let's see how it works. So it's enabled right here in the in this window where I can just click on Enable Stage Manager. Okay. And maybe we can't see it right now because I don't have any open up. I know it'll work because Spike and I did it earlier. So let's open up some apps. Click here. Stage Manager. So what it does is it lets you see one app at a time in this kind of pretty window. You'll notice that everything on the desktop went away, so I'm not distracted by anything. And I can switch between my apps.
Ooh, I like that.
It's kind of cool, Yeah, it's kind of neat. I think there'll be some workflows that this will be really, really awesome with. You can also, if you want, have more than one app that works with that particular screen. So if I go here, you'll notice that those two shrunk back by themselves and they kind of list themselves here. And now I'm just using this one app. So this could be like email and, some kind of chat program maybe, or something like that. Maybe that was the wrong error. Maybe I should do this. So let's take, do I have chat open? You can only have 6 apps on the side here. So I don't know what the rules are for that. But so this could be my email and chat program to get caught up. But then, I go to my Maps when I'm doing whatever real work I need to do. Okay, let's open up an app and see what happens. So I'm going to open up Preview here. I'm going to just create I don't know, let's try Pages. Sorry, everybody. So I open up Pages, but now I'm going to pick Maps, and Pages just slides right over there Or it's actually, yeah, it's with Pages right now. And then if I want to turn it off, I just come back over here, I turn it off. Everything comes back to normal and I have to manage Windows the old fashioned way. That's really, really hard. Cool.
I think I like that,
I like-
because I know a lot of people use like multiple desktops, and I never found it, I
Confusing.
just always found it confusing.
Yeah. To go through the layers.
Yeah, so I can't, Spike, are you near your laptop? Can you 4-finger swipe?
Which, 4 fingers, which way? Up, or just,
To the right.
oh,
There you go. So even though I went in full screen mode with my app, what was that app? I even forgot already. Can you swipe back, Spike?
oh, mail.
So emails in full screen mode. So I can still have spaces, swipe back, but then let's try this. Okay. And then my main desktop might have the app separated in a way that I like. Make sense? Let's see how many we can get going on.
iPad's gonna have this too, right, Scott?
Pardon?
iPad's gonna have this too, make it separated?
Yes, certain iPads, but only iPads that are like M1 chips and a few of the lower end ones. Pretty much the better iPad Pros will have it. There's a lot of anger out in the Mac community about that it's not getting to all iPads. Apple keeps saying that they can't do it on the older chips, but then the latest beta for iPad OS that just came out had it for 2 chips that Apple said it wouldn't work on. So it may not be true that it won't work on other ones. They just may not like the performance or the speed, okay? So that might change. Also, one other thing to think about is, let me see if I can do this really quick. Let me quit this. Let me open this, go to YouTube. Oh, that was wrong. Probably get something. Okay, so if I hit play here and I run this video and I switch apps, the video here will keep updating. See that? So you can see your apps actually doing something, maybe rendering an image or something, maybe later. I just wanted to show you that it keeps up in real time. Okay. So maybe we should keep using center stage, this what is it called? Stage manager for a minute, because let's try it with our next thing I want to talk about. So there's some
Center stage,
Go ahead.
I think center stage is where the camera keeps you in view.
That's center stage. Yes.
So you're
I'm
using
sorry,
Stage Manager, right?
Yeah.
This is called stage manager. I apologize. I get those two mixed up all the time.
Those different stages.
Totally. I think they're really confusing names, actually. I don't even know. The center stage thing, I don't even like. I don't think anybody uses it. I think it's kind of.
Scott, there's a question for you in the chat.
Is that just for people who don't like apps hiding behind apps? Sure, I guess so. Yes. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of full screen windows like all the time, you know, and then like 50 of them all behind each other. That's kind of a thing on Windows. That's how a lot of Windows people work. And I just never saw it as super efficient, but it's similar. I don't think this is quite as revolutionary as people thought it was going to be when it first came out, but we'll see.
I like the idea. I think it's visually a little more comforting.
Yes,
To me,
I think
yeah.
it'd be really nice too for like presentations and stuff. If you wanted to show,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
3 or 4 different things, and you
You
know,
can
kind
see
of
at a
gets
glance
really.
you can see at a glance instead of diving through desktops.
Yeah, yeah, and that might be the really nice feature about it. I mean, that might just be enough that you can kind of be in full screen almost, and just switch between your apps in a really simple way. It'll be interesting to see how long it lasts or how long it gets adapted. I wonder if Command Tab does anything. Oh yeah, look, Command Tab still works. And actually, it's interesting with Command Tab, I can even see more apps than I think I can keep in the side here. So I could switch to one that isn't in the side. What do we think? The Finder, let's try that. Interesting. Okay, so also under the hood updates, they've done a lot in Spotlight. You start to get results now when you type in one letter. That's like their big thing on how faster it is. So I'm going to type in Scott. You get internet results, you get Siri suggestions for websites, you get different map inputs, you get folders. There's the Scott stuff, there's me. We'll get more into those later. You get all your mail results. It's very similar to what was there before, but it's a lot more robust. You can make the spotlight. You can dig into stuff, so you can say show more. I kind of like the show more thing where I could like go to PDF documents, click on it, and then it gives you a Finder window with that search. Okay, so some under the hood changes with Spotlight that you might even use it more often. I find myself using Spotlight all the time. I almost just search for files now rather than go find them. And I can do stuff like .pdf. You can be very specific. Here's video stuff. I don't even know what that would find, but I was interested if it would show me the Apple TV app, and it did. So searching is going to get better in Ventura as well. They consider it a rebuild. Okay, let's see what else. Lift subject from photos, ambient sounds. Okay, the other big change in Ventura that might mess a lot of people up is going to be, it used to be called system preferences. It's now called system settings. And I think this is one of Apple's biggest examples of integrating what people know on the iPhone into Mac OS. That it just wasn't that way. So when you open up system setting now, not system preferences, you get something that very much mimics the way that settings works on the iPhone. Is everyone pretty familiar with settings? Okay. This is very buggy right now in Ventura, in the betas. One thing that doesn't always work is the search, AUDI. It kind of works, and then sometimes you click on stuff, but even if I click, and we'll see if this happens, sometimes when I clear this field, it worked that time, but a lot of times it doesn't, okay? And you can kind of get stuck somewhere and no way to get back. Do you want to hear my opinion on it?
Sure.
I like it. I like this a lot. I think it's going to be a little bit harder to find stuff. In the long run, I think it'll be better, and I just hope it doesn't launch as buggy as the betas are of this. But it kind of unifies it in a way that there's kind of one thing as I'm working with people with problems with their iPhone or their iPad, they always kind of know how to go into settings and come up here and do a search for some feature, handoff. And I really like that. I think that's great. So
I don't like you can't sort it alphabetically.
the only place you can do that is here. But unlike I never use the alphabetical sorting. I never liked that when the control panel could be set to alphabetical. I didn't like that. I like the way they had it grouped by the different devices, but that's just a personal preference. One of the things I don't like about it is stuff like this. I feel if I go to network and I want to see the Wi-Fi and I want to get the details and I want to see I feel like I'm just clicking a lot of buttons to do stuff that might have been in 1 or 2 clicks on the old way. Okay. But, I'll probably change. I like the fact that I can do a search like this. Let me try DNS servers. Let's just try DNS. See how DNS servers comes up? That wasn't possible on the old one. So that's kind of neat. Maybe my new habit will be to just search for what I want in preferences. So, and and one of the big problems with, I think, iPads, iPhones is there are so many preferences now. Who can possibly keep track of all this stuff, right?
Can you turn on the control, in general, can you turn on the scroll bars so they always stay?
Yeah, all the old features are still there. It's just maybe a little bit hard to find it. Now let's go see. Now, where is that? Because I actually saw that.
Can always search for it.
Yeah.
That'd be under scroll bar. Yeah, scroll bar behavior. There.
Oh, it's under appearance. Okay,
Yeah,
So
see,
they
I always
kinda
wanna
give it
turn, I always wanna change that to always.
yeah, that's a good one to always do. But yeah, so the searching is really powerful if you know what you're looking for. If you don't know what you're looking for, it might be a lot harder. But any of the settings that were in the old ones are in the new one. There just might be, like, I'm a big fan of the network stuff, and it was a little bit harder to find everything. Okay, iOS 16. If you go into your Wi-Fi, okay, you know how everyone asks you what's your Wi-Fi password, and you got to go look for the password? On a phone or an iPad now, if you go into settings, Wi-Fi, and you look at your Wi-Fi connection, you can see the password. You can tap on it and it will reveal the password, so you can just look it up kind of quickly for that network that you're on. For some reason, that wasn't implemented here,
It might be
and I
'cause
thought
we're
that
on
was
the
kind of
library.
interesting.
Might be 'cause
Oh,
we're on
look.
the library.
No, it doesn't matter. It just shows you the network password. But I guess if I click on this, I can say copy password. So let's go to. Let's open up text edit. Here is not right. Let's try that again. Copy password. So you think that would be the feature, right? And if I click it here, what do I get? Paste. It just says here. Well, there's a little trick that I don't know if you guys know this, but if you're in text edit, you go to format and you change it to plain text. Okay, you can, URLs will paste instead of the text in rich text. That's one of my favorite things. So it appears that that copy didn't work, but that might be the beta. Maybe in the real version that will work. All right.
There's no password for library guests.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
really
you
not a
just get on it?
Yeah,
Yeah. You have
Oh,
one of
okay.
those like legal things, we have to like, you're gonna be ethical on their network, that one of those things, that's all you have to do.
it'll probably
Oh,
copy
okay.
on one that does have a password.
Let's hope that does work, because that would be really useful, but I don't understand why they just don't show it to me. So, but it's the same way at my home. Actually, let me try it real quick at home. So let me go there. Let me go to network. Let me go look at network. So I guess the theory is you could copy and paste it.
So you can look it up for your guests, when because no
Okay,
one
so-
remembers what their password is.
So on my Mac at home, which is an Intel Mac, I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't seem to get this little hover thing. I'll check again just to be 100%. Mine just says connect. Oh, wait, found it. Wait, it's there. It took a minute. Copy password. Let me paste it. Yes, it was my password. So at home, it does work correctly. Copy network settings, forget this network. So I just have copy password. I can't really see the password. Interesting. So that's kind of weird stuff that maybe will change when the actual software comes out. Other weird little differences. I want to show you one right now. I will go to, do I have pages open here? Pages, I'm just going to pick this template. I'm going to go file, print. And they've re-engineered the print dialog box.
It is.
Okay. So far, I kind of like it. Like, I don't know, this really isn't that big deal to me. Now, you guys, you printers might be freaking out, but one of the things I like about it is they've kind of put the options kind of easy to get to. Okay, rather than like having to do a drop down and then going into that setting or something like that. I think this will take some getting used to, but I don't think it's the end of the world. And I do like how.
Does it show up that way for all apps or just pages?
Oh no, all apps. Yeah, this whole thing has been redone.
Be very nice to
That
have.
may not be true with Adobe Creative Cloud, because they're making their own. Chrome. Do you have Chrome on here, Spike?
You can look in the applications folder, I'm not sure.
Okay, so one of the big apps that I hate that changes printing all the time is Chrome. So let's go look at that. So this still uses the Chrome print, which, I think your InDesign and other stuff does that as well. You can make this go away. I can't remember what the open PDF
Yeah, print,
print
yeah,
using
right there.
dialogue.
Okay,
So it's basically the same kind of layout, but no preview. Okay.
okay.
So that's just something to think about when it comes down to, don't be surprised. This is a weird one. Let's go back into settings and I'll show you one other weird thing that I think
It
is
might
just-
work great with old printers, or it could break. Hard to.
I have a feeling printer drivers have always been secondary to Apple, so I don't think it'll have any printing problems as long as you have current drivers. We're starting to see a lot of printers not have drivers anymore, like printing companies are just giving up. So that would be the thing I'd check. Okay.
Is it still
Also-
using, is this OS still using, is it cups?
Yeah, I think the underlying technology is cups, but it's probably been modified beyond what the cups actually is. Like you could
I know
download
that's been
cups
around.
from.
I know that's
Yeah.
been around a while. I don't have it.
It's been the Unix printing system for years, but I think you could think of this more as a fork. Like Apple took cups, used it while they wanted it, and just kind of customized it to whatever they needed to do now.
Okay,
So it's probably cups underlying, but it's not really the cups, what would be the standard implementation of cups.
I think cups is common. It's printing, probably something like that.
One of the other cool things is this is dumb, but I'm thrilled with it.
it's dumb, but you're thrilled.
Yeah, multiple destinations and maps now.
Ooh,
So you can pick a first address and you can get directions and you can add stops. Okay.
about time. Like routing.
Yeah, totally.
Google Maps has been doing that for years.
Yes, absolutely. But that I'm very happy that now has that feature. Also, you can do all the transit stuff for most places now. You can do bicycle maps
they call-
on
they call it
time and
Google Maps.
work. Lots of cool info. But yeah, multiple locations I'm really into. And it works in CarPlay as well now on my phone. So it's really cool. Now you can like put in a gas and sip, you got to stop for gas into the path of your whole trip. As you're on the destination to the, say you're going somewhere and you want to find a gas station on your way, it'll just add it to your trip. And then when you leave out of the gas station, it'll resume your old one. Okay, here's one of the silliest things I think is in Mac OS. Sorry, let me quit this. Ambient. Now this is something that's on the phone, which I think makes sense. Excuse me, because the phone you'll have next to your bed or something like that. But now they have ambient sounds. I don't know why it's not coming up here. Let's try SOUNDS. So you can turn this on. I don't know if you'll hear this, but I think if you're in the
We
building.
can hear it through my computer speakers.
Yeah, you can hear dark noise or whatever background. You can adjust the
Yeah.
volume. I mean, that might be cool if you really want to focus. I don't know if that's what background sounds do, but
I use it when I
Kinda
use it
crazy.
when I travel and I want to sleep.
yes,
I
and
use
that's
it- I use
why.
the box fan.
Well, that's why it made perfect sense to me in a phone, right? Like I thought, oh, this is great. I even used it when it first came out. I thought it was great. I can now have it on my iMac in my office while I'm working. So just an interesting thing. And I think that points to some more concepts, excuse me, of making the phone and the devices all similar. Really almost one unified OS, but don't say that out loud. Apple will get mad. Center stage spotlight. What else? New printer layout. Oh, now I'm going to show you one of the things that might speak to the future of Mac OSs. We're going to do this. So I'm going to use Quick Look to take a look at that cute guy. And then what's really cool is if I right click on this, keep in mind, I haven't opened up anything. I don't know why it's not working. Copy subject. So do you see that little color shift there. It's very subtle.
Mhm.
Some AI, machine learning, just figured out what the outline of that was. And is figuring it out what the outline is. Lets me copy it. And
You can probably put that in Pages if you wanted.
I can do, yeah, I could. It's on the clipboard right now. Actually, I could just do this. Where is it? Edit. Do you see show clipboard or am I crazy?
I think you can just do new from clipboard, you can show it.
Wait a minute. Is show
That's the
clipboard gone?
The answer.
Try holding down the
Wow.
Option key.
I wonder if that went away.
Go to
No
insert.
changes.
Insert?
It's not, I just wanted to see the clipboard, which has been built into Mac OS since the very first version. I'm just interested to know if they took that away. So let's open preview. Actually, if I open up preview, I go file.
In the
not in
Finder.
preview,
There, now you are.
preview. New from clipboard,
There you go.
and that's the outline. So I guess I'm just showing you that this might speak to things that they're going to build in more and more. And it's also in multiple places. You see this preview? If I click on more, remove background, I can convert the image to other formats. Not a lot, but they're there. If I go, I don't want to do it with this one. So I'm going to duplicate this one real quick. I'm going to right click. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to say remove background. It's going to do the same thing, but it's just going to do it. It made a copy of it and then automatically dropped out the background for me.
And the iPhone does this too, right, Scott?
Yes, all this works currently on your current iPhone if you have a relatively new one and you're using iOS 16. And on that, you just long press on the picture and it'll automatically find the subject.
I have a question, Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the resolution compared to the original? Low res, high res, same? You know,
I don't know off the top of my head, but I bet it might be, it looks like it got bigger. HD demo. I don't think it changes the resolution at the minimum.
you're making a copy.
It's probably going to do its best to, isn't there more info on this? Can't you see like all the, yeah, there you go.
It's the same.
Wow.
Sorry, I just got a phone call. So it's basically the same, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it just did it for you automatically. So then if you start to think about things like shortcut, now let me show you something else real quick to kind of tie all this together. If I go to customize, I can pick all these different features, and you'll notice that this one's a third party, Huda spot integrated into here. So I can add that to one of my options in that particular preview window. So if Adobe was really smart, almost everything in Photoshop might be available to be added to a Finder command. So you might be able to do some of the Photoshop stuff you do right through here, okay? Which would make it extremely powerful for something like shortcuts to be able to automatically process a bunch of folders. Now, there's ways to do that now. This is just something, but it could just be built in with AI. Does that make sense? Am I being clear on that?
Yep.
So, you know, we may have a lot of AI features coming down the road. I think this one, so AI features that I've already shown you that I think are AI are closed captioning on all video and audio on your Mac automatically. That's AI. There's this remove pictures. The spotlight stuff could be AI in different ways. Some of the extrapolated, you know, like the web searches for something you're looking for. So I think we're just going to see more of it get integrated without us even realize that it's thinking about that in the background or doing that in some magical way. Okay.
Okay,
Good.
What else? Ambient sound, continuity camera. This is when okay. Let me see if we can get this to work. We had a problem earlier where this wasn't really working. So I should be able to double click on it, something in like Pages, and this will work in any program. Import from okay, so here's Spike's iPhone 12. So Spike, you ready to take a picture?
Yes.
Okay, so when I say take a photo, the phone automatically switches over to Spike being able to take a picture. So take a picture.
Oh, use photo. There's a use photo.
And it took a picture, and now it automatically dropped into my little design program here.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
So there's different features. So I could use really almost any device I have. Where is it here? I'm still on that. I'm still on that old photo selection. So let's do that. Import. I can take a photo, scan a document, or add a sketch, and I could do it from his iPad or his photo as long as they're around. If you haven't gotten familiar with the scan software on your Mac, on your iPhone, I would try and practice it maybe by scanning some receipts. It's really good and really powerful. And kind of once you know it's there, it becomes really useful.
I have extra apps to do that. It's built into the iOS though, eh?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of using the built-in apps. They may not have all the features, but if you understand the built-in apps and you know you need more, then you can go to third-party stuff that you may actually want to pay for.
The thing that I've seen demoed for this, and it's got it popped up a couple times, like between you and after the rehearsal, but when you weren't connected. But the cameras in your laptops or even in your desktops for Zoom are just average. Like Apple hasn't really refreshed those.
Well, yeah.
But you can make it so it uses your phone camera, so you can hook your phone up to your computer. There's like
I was just going to get to that.
Okay,
You
good.
can
Go
in
into that.
FaceTime and chatting, you can use the camera in your phone to be your video camera, right? Like, so if I switch on my video here, this is actually a camera I have on top of my iMac. Theoretically, let me see if I can do it. Scott's IP. So in Zoom under video options, my phone showed up. And now, if I turn it around, this is my phone image. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And it was easy as selecting another device. Okay. Now the requirement is my device has to be signed into iCloud. So it has to be one of these options for all the different devices to use it. Okay. But what's cool is I can use the camera in any of my devices. Spike was actually talking about there's a camera mount that will allow you to mount this to like your screen. So you can just use it. Does that make sense? And now on my phone, it says pause or disconnect. I'm going to say disconnect. And I switch back to whatever device I want to use. Pretty powerful.
So the main thing I saw, Scott, is like you get a better camera, but you could, what's the desktop view? Can you talk about that?
The which one?
Desktop view?
Desktop view.
Camera will take a picture, just go straight down.
Yeah, the camera can go straight down and get like the things that you put right where your keyboard is, or like in front of your keyboard, so you can actually show down.
I don't even know. I don't know anything about that, so I'm not sure.
You can share documents, so it's sort of like an opaque projector used to be, I guess, but so you can use it for collaboration of printed materials, or you could show like objects, you know, like your phone or a pencil or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you could position your phone really anywhere you wanted to. So yeah, that might be really great. You know, if you want to show.
It
I
uses
have
the wide
another
angle.
question in the chat.
I'm confused. What exactly is continuity camera? The ability to reach out and use your camera and connect it to your device, to your laptop automatically. For example,
Oh, yeah, there it is. Use your phone as a webcam. showed you the new features.
Here, I'll quit it.
Oh.
I should have read that first. I think I'd have to call me before I could do this. Maybe I could switch. I think I'd have to place a call and then maybe I could switch the camera. But right now, this is the laptop camera, the built-in laptop camera using in FaceTime, which maybe Spike isn't at his laptop and would like to use his phone, and he should be able to switch over and do that. It's a lot like this. Let me see here. I don't know. I'm trying to think of another example. Let me go back. I'll start with FaceTime again. We'll open this up.
And they say that they got it now, thanks.
Oh, okay. I don't want to use that, but I have the ability just to switch to any of other my documents. Let me show you one more thing. Oh, I just forgot what it was. Continuity camera, weather app. One of the cool things in Mail, there's some new features. They're very basic, no big deal, but people might find them valuable. Create a new email. I can click on this little arrow next to my send mail and I can choose when to send the email. I can pick some pre-built in ones, or I could say send later and pick a specific time for that email to go out. I personally can't figure out a use for this, but I'm sure other people can. Maybe when you have to fire somebody at an exact time. I don't know. But,
I use it all the time, Scott, to send stuff in the morning, so I don't like bother you at night.
oh, okay. There you
Yeah.
go.
I figure you might read the mail of your email, get all pissed off about something, so I just figure I'll wait till it's the morning
Yeah.
instead.
Every time I read my email, I get.
It's sort of when
Doesn't
you
really
think of it,
matter.
right?
People will be like, what are you doing up at 3 a.m.?
Yeah, exactly. When I can't sleep, that's what I do.
There's one other thing I want to show you in quick look. This is an AI thing. You see this little icon right down here that popped up? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone look at that, get to know that icon, because that means scanning. So if you see that, that means you can scan. Okay, so if I click, keep in mind that here's what I think is so amazing. This is just quick look of this file. I have not opened a program. All I'm doing is quickly looking at that data. If I hit the scan button, it will select all the different lines, and it's basically taken an image and found all the text for me, so I can select it or not. Does that make sense? Now, what's really cool is if you do that with something like, sorry, Spike, I'm going through your.
Emails?
Wow.
If you do it from a screenshot and like there's, okay, this is perfect. I'm going to just take a screenshot of this. I'll just click on it so it opens up and I hit scan. Along the bottom, it found the email addresses and the phone number. So I might be able to just call this person right now, click on it, and my phone will ring. Or if I want to make an email to Lindsay here, all I have to do is click on it and it opens up an email to her. And I have the ability to select all this text and copy and paste it wherever I want. And that's a screenshot. That is an image, not text.
Built-in OCR with intelligence.
It's built-in OCR that's used by the scanner, and it's all available on your iPhone right now if you're running iOS 16. So you can long press on an image. You'll see like a shimmer go down the screen, and that's actually the AI figuring out what all the text is in your image. Spike, is it okay if I go into your photos?
Yeah, there's a really good one of you holding that little purse you made for your daughter at Halloween. That'll be a good
great.
one.
So here, I don't know if this will work right now, okay? But if I click on, say, this image, and I'm not sure if this works at all. It may need to be open longer. But for example, if this were on an iPhone and I long pressed on it, I'd see the shimmer appear and I could literally select whatever text I need. So one of the places that I use this in work a lot is serial numbers. I'll photograph a serial number or a model number or something. And it's almost, oh, there it's, you see how that works now? So at some point, and notice this icon down here.
Yep,
Yeah.
So now if I click on that, it highlights what it found for me. Okay, but I can also pick exactly what I want. Oh, look, I can even just grab it and drag it. I wonder if it becomes a text block. Yep, and there's a text clipping.
man.
Okay, that is straight up AI OCR.
Cool.
That's amazing.
In any image, and it's probably coming in video as well.
Hopefully it's pretty good.
I think you can do a video frame. Video and do it.
Still it and do it. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
just-
cancel. So what's this? Just normal stuff. I floated over this. Oh, here, one thing. So I wanted to show you this. So you can see that there's also add a sketch. So if I turn this on, Spike, is your phone on?
Yep. Well, we could.
So if I say add a sketch, now it's going to be sketching on his phone. Okay, so he can sketch something, draw with your finger, do a color. There you go. So he did that on his phone, and I just added it to here. Now, I'm going to do this too. So let's take this, drag it in here. This is my favorite button in all of Mac OS. Click on this, and you can go into Markup. This has been around forever. I'm just showing it to you because I think it works. You basically get the editing options in preview. Okay, so you can do all this stuff. Highlight stuff, circle stuff, put a square. Does anyone use this in preview for PDFs or images?
Never.
Okay, this is the #1 reason to use
Wild.
preview over Adobe Acrobat. You come in here, you see this little pencil thing, click on that. You get all these options, and you can do more with this than anything Adobe gives you. So I can put in a text block.
You don't get the
Okay.
collaboration features of it, but you get almost everything else.
You can
Well, that's-
edit, you can crop and shrink it in Ventura. You can do histogram levels. Okay, this now that I get histogram because it's an image. If it was a PDF, that would not be available. Okay, I can do objects like stars, you know, probably dumb stuff, but it's a quick way to mark up a screenshot and send it to somebody so they can see what you've done.
You know, I use it
you
to design my tax returns.
It has auto masking. So here's auto masking. So I can auto select. So I could just select a kind of a color and delete that out. I can scribble with pen. I love this. This is the other great feature. On a PDF, you can sign something. So you just click on it and then you can scale it to the appropriate size and move it where you need. And then you can just go like this, share. Oh, this is the new, let me show you this too while we're talking about it. This is the new share icon. I'm so sorry for coughing, guys. Did I tell everyone I was sick for like 4 days in a row here, and I just have a little bit of a cough left. So this is the new share sheet, which is very similar to what you see on the iPhone if you hit it. What I like about it is it has these recent people that I've chatted with recently. So it's kind of easy because that would be like mostly coworkers maybe, and you're just firing stuff off all around. You can also edit these extensions to add even more. So I can add a Dropbox transfer. I can add a OneNote thing because that's installed on the system. So now if I hit done, I can go back to that. And oh, I'm out of markup now. No, I'm over here. And I can now probably see those other options. Where's the shape? Right? So AirDrop, Dropbox transfer.
Oh, that's nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
I personally believe that preview is much better than Adobe Reader. You know, the free version that you get that doesn't let you do everything. I love preview. I think it's
definitely faster.
I think it's better, faster, has more features.
yeah.
You can do all the markup stuff, and it works great with PDFs and images.
You just
So it
can't,
annotates as well?
Pardon?
Like, if you wanted to annotate a PDF, you could do it in preview?
Yeah, where is it?
Keys and highlights and all that other stuff?
I don't think it has highlights. It does have the rest of the animations. I never use it, so this is kind of. Oh, that's crop. Sorry. It is in here somewhere. I just don't know where it is because I never use that
you
feature.
have to have text in order to highlight. You can't do that.
Is that what it is? Probably can't do it in an image. Oh, it has a loop though.
You say, Pauline?
I had to sign off on some proofs sometimes, and when there were errors on the proofs from China, it did let me highlight certain things, because they didn't send PDFs, they sent me JPEGs.
Oh, okay.
And, or I didn't even know what they sent, PNGs, they did weird things, and they sent me these files and they'd open a preview, and then I just had to try to figure out how to write everything that I needed to write on that proof. So even in the older versions, I could sort of do it. It just took a while to find how to do it.
Huh.
Do you know how to show the collaboration feature, Scott? Did you work with that? Like the
In
collaboration
preview,
and messages, I think that's probably in messages or FaceTime.
it's not. Are you talking about the whiteboard feature that FaceTime's going to have?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Not implemented in the betas yet. It's
Oh, it's
probably
not.
been delayed. Okay. At some point, they're going to have a whiteboard in FaceTime, so you can call everybody and kind of show a document, or just have a board that everybody can write in and put images on. And a lot of the features will probably be these features here from preview. But that's coming in FaceTime and iChat, and that'll be later in the year. I think it got removed.
So if you're doing lots of collaboration, like with Acrobat Professional, where you're like taking edits from a team, you still need Acrobat, but there's lots of times you don't need that.
Also, keep in mind, this was a screenshot. I double clicked on it and it opened in preview. Sorry. So this was an email. This is a picture added to an email. I double clicked on it. It opened in preview, and I can select a range of text. Like, let's say I needed somebody's email from it. I could just, whoops, get it, select it, copy it, paste it in, and fire off the email. It should be there. I don't know why it isn't. The other cool thing about when you modify an image or a PDF using markup in email. So if I do this and I stick this red box on it and I make it red with a blue inside, and maybe then I make it show colors, and I want that to be that blue to only really be about 20%. So I can show that, whatever. I'm just riffing. It gets stamped down to the image, but it doesn't change my original. Okay, my screenshot should still be wherever the original was, but I haven't messed it up. I'm only messing up the one I'm firing out to the person. That's not, by the way, that's not a Ventura thing. It's just something I love about Mac OS, and it's been around for at least one generation. But it's so powerful that if you really get to use it, and it is being increased in Ventura. They've added some more features and that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, one other quick how much more time do I have, Spike? Are we done?
No one's yawning yet, so you can keep going for a little while longer.
Okay. Two
I don't know about
dumb
the
things.
Zoomers.
Two really dumb things added to Ventura that I like are, and it's so simple, and it should have been this way the whole time. Weather app has been added now, and it'll be on your iPad soon. It's Apple's version. Again, I'm a big fan of the built-in stuff until I find I need something. There's a million weather apps. I almost don't like it that there's so many, and they're all $4.99, and I buy ones that I hate. The Apple one I really liked. They bought dark skies and integrated, like, their maps are all from dark skies. I get notification when it's going to rain in my area. I can come in here, and it's funny, like, here's detailed information about the chances of rain and what the temperature is going to be. I think it's great. I love that it's built in now. Makes me happy.
You happen to know where it gets its information, how the information's fed? Is it from the Ocean Society or?
Actually, I think it used to be Yahoo. They might be collecting their own now. I don't know. Okay. But I guarantee you with Apple's integrity, it's probably going to be a much better data source than other people are using.
You
So,
found it accurate?
oh, is it going to rain? It tells me when it's going to,
But
it tells me when it's going to start raining and when it's going to stop raining where I'm standing. And it's almost always dead on.
cool, I'll stop using Weather Channel.
And you can do multiple locations too, which is really nice. So like I had family in, Naples, so I just watched the map on temperatures and everything there. And then the other app that they've added is another dumb one that should have been there the whole time, but I don't even think they knew to do it until they did it on the iPhone successfully. But clocks has now been added to it's been added to the OS. So basically on your phone, you probably all remember like, hey person, set a timer for 30 minutes. You can now do that on your phone, on your Mac. And you can have a stopwatch and you can have an alarm and a timer. So I like setting timers. I like setting timers like this, which we don't have Siri on, but hey Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes.
Taking over passwords. No.
There's a request
What?
from the audience, Scott, when you're done with your next feature or whatever you're showing.
What?
Is the it's passcodes.
Okay, I have never gotten one to work, and I've been working on the beta. Okay, is passwords even in here?
So,
Yeah, they moved it just like on the phone. It can now be in system preferences. Spike, I don't know this password.
1, 2, 3, 4.
sure. Like, let me ask you.
All right, go ahead. Gary has a question, but I think it's about 1Password, right?
Scott, it looks like whatever the built-in password part is taking over everything from the 1Password. They automatically come up, it saves you.
Okay, you can pick which you can set near the operating system, which is your primary password storage device. Okay, I would not think of it as passwords took over 1Password. What I personally think the best approach is, and I've said this multiple times before, start with what's built in and then go to a third-party one. Spike and I used to have this discussion like 4 years ago all the time. He was a big 1Password fan. I started with 1Password. I thought it was great, loved the idea, but then Apple did this. And I said, wait, I don't want to use 1Password where I have to buy it. Not that I'm against that. Some things are totally worth buying, but I wanted the basics, which is what Apple gave us, and it's really powerful and really easy to use. And then I learned, what more do I need? And sharing passwords with someone else, yeah, definitely use 1Password.
I remember you doing that, but what I'm saying now is, I think the Apple 1Password appears to improving, or
Yeah, that's not 1Password. It's the keychain, is what you would call that. Gary.
it seems to be pushing the 1Password.
Yes, it's improving. It's not.
And what it was that made it different was when they integrated it with Safari. Okay, that
Right.
made it very practical for everyday users that don't really understand their computer. And I think then once it was also on the iPhone and people figured out they could go here to see passwords, it made more sense. It was simpler to use. I think one of the big things is we used to give people 1Password or LastPass and other stuff, and they simply could not understand how it worked. And I think when it's built in, if you a little discipline, you use it 3 times, you understand it. Does that make sense? And once it got integrated with Safari, it was kind of like game over because it's just so easy to use now.
Go ahead, Brenda, ask your question.
Yeah, I use it, and one of the things I like is if there's a password breach, it'll tell you that one of the
Yes.
and it'll name off what the site is and all that stuff.
Right here. These are all bad passwords for Spike. Change password, and you can click on this button and change it. Now, here's what Ventura excuse me, I'm so sorry. Ventura is adding passkeys to this. So you'll be able to go to a website, scan a QR code, and you won't even need a username and password. Like you'll just get in automatically. And I just read today that it'll start to bypass Keshpas, you know, those image things like select the motorcycles.
Yeah.
Those won't be necessary either because they're going to generate unique identification for the phone, the device, and the person. And it'll only be on one side of the device. Like you'll have a unique code for yourself. They'll have a unique code. Something's going to have to match and they'll let you in. I think we might be seeing the end of passwords in the next few years.
Thank God.
Yeah,
There he is.
You know, I'm hoping it's.
I mean, I want security and everything, but man, password stuff is crazy.
Now, I have not been able to get the KeyPass thing to work, and they were also doing QR. They were also doing, you know, those apps like Microsoft Secure. Like, there's different apps that you can generate a code that you look at on your phone and type it in. And you get in. Yeah, authenticators. They had some of that going on the last version of Mac OS, and I never got it to work, but I didn't really dive into it either. But I figure if I can't make it work in 20 to 30 minutes, honestly, not to be vain, but no one's going to figure it out on the average user side. So hopefully this will change. And I don't even know if I think the passkeys may not be working yet in the betas, but I don't know. I'm going to go down that road at some point. But
How old is your beta?
It's beta 8, which came out 2 days ago.
And when they're gonna release it?
Sometime this month. Supposedly it's going to be in October. So I'm kind of waiting for an event
October?
announcement.
Right. And sometimes some of the features that they promote get released in the 0.1 or 0.2s later, like if they just can't get them in, they're not reliable.
That whiteboard feature is being kept out, I think, until a future update. So that maybe the passkeys thing will get set to that. I don't know. Okay, but if you're using 1Password, you can keep using it. You can turn off this password program. You can tell Safari not to use it and make 1Password your main one. I'm not
You
sure
use
where
more
that's done.
browsers than Safari, 1Password helps you, or you share it with family members or a team of professionals you work with, then you need 1Password. If it's just for you, try it built in.
Also, Chrome has a plugin now, though, for iCloud passwords.
You do? I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah.
That would make it easier to use Chrome.
You have to install it as an extension and then log in with your Apple ID credentials, and then all your passwords are there. But what I usually tell people
Is that just for Ventura, or would that work with Monterey too?
no, that's just an extension for Chrome, so it should work with anything, and it'll work on Windows.
Oh. I'll have to experiment.
I personally am a big fan of doing this, and I'm like, I like to use Safari for my personal stuff, but I might use Chrome for work stuff. And it's really cool. If you have a Gmail account, you can put all your passwords for work in that and all your personal stuff in Chrome, and they won't mix. And it's just a cool way that if you're going to leave an organization or they were going to fire you or whatever, you can just log out of your Chrome and you get to save all your passwords, but you don't have to, or you log out of Chrome and your passwords go to work, and your Safari passwords are all your personal ones for your own stuff. You can't lose it. Instead of mixing everything all together and then kind of having it be all jumbled.
Yeah, good idea.
Chrome works better for business too, I find.
I would argue with that, but that's okay.
Well, for banks it does, Scott.
Well, you know what? I've not seen that problem in a couple of years. I mean, literally, and also if your bank is using something that won't work in Safari, because Safari is really just a fork of Chrome along with Edge. And if their web browser doesn't work with Edge or Safari, there's something wrong. If they tell you Chrome's the only way to do it, for instance, my bank, which I have Fidelity, requires me to use Chrome to see my what's called full view, like you can add other accounts from other places. And the only reason I have to use Chrome for that is because because they're doing cross-site cookies, okay? And I have that off in Safari because I don't want to be tracked by every Joe Schmo on the internet. So they're making me do it at my bank just because they don't want to implement it correctly. Okay? So,
Make
That's
you
kind
work
of a little
instead of
bit-
them doing the work.
pardon?
So make you do the work instead of them doing the work.
Yeah, exactly. And then they tell me I'm wrong, but it's like, no, it's your implementation of cross-browser cookies because you're sending me really to another site that you're loading into a frame and I have to have a cookie. I got to use Chrome. No, fix that. Sorry, that's my,
Chrome doesn't
But-
have.
but then again, most people don't know that. So they're like, oh, you just got to use Chrome. And they're like, oh, okay. So, but anyways, open standards is the only way to go if you're going to have web apps. Oh, okay. One more thing. And I really wanted to get to this. You can now run iPhone apps and iPad apps on an M1 enabled machine.
Oh.
So let's see if I can show you the example I downloaded. So for instance, if we go to the App Store and I type in, I'm going to type in WZYE, which is Wise, which they make some web stuff. I can download their app that before I could only have on my iPhone, okay, to see my cameras. Excuse me. But now I could download it to my computer and do the same stuff.
Yes. Yeah, there's some stuff my
That
iPhone does that my Mac doesn't. That's what I wish it does.
It doesn't have anything. But if you have
Yeah.
an M1 Mac in Ventura, you can now just download that app and run it. So on Spike's machine, we did this. Let's see if it's in the application folder. Linksys, Lyn. I thought we downloaded a Linksys app.
So if you're using it on multiple devices, is the price still the same?
Yeah, theoretically, if you buy it in one place, you have the right to use it anywhere. That's when you go into here. You go into
The app,
you go into your
the app
account.
developer has a choice, Pauline, but most of the time they're letting you buy it once and use it everywhere.
Okay,
But they could require you to buy it again on the Mac.
okay.
But some features may not work.
And they'll figure it out.
Like any other software, you know, if you're using it on 4 computers, you're gonna pay more than if you use it on 1.
What is it, Linksys?
I'll bring that our Android now and those, you know, over there. They'll be crazy, you know, Android both, like, oh.
Oh, so earlier, you can tell right here that I'm on iPhone and iPad apps. I could switch to Mac apps, but there is no, this is a router management program that I use for some clients. I hit open and I just use it on my iPhone now, which is kind of fine, but I'd love to have it on my laptop so I could really do some stuff. So this is literally the iPad and the iPhone app running on a Mac. And I can log into my account and I'd see everything that the app shows me on my phone.
So I guess the thing I would ask you, Scott, to maybe tell your opinion about when to get them, you know, like I don't think you have to get Apple Silicon if you don't already have it, but I think there'll be, there might be incentives for you to upgrade your hardware sooner than you would have in the past.
Well,
You know?
I mean, okay. Mac OS 13. If it comes out tomorrow, don't upgrade, especially if it's a production environmental Mac and you're fine. I kind of think upgrading is more for hardware. It'll be more important when Adobe Photoshop says, gosh, we're going to let you open up even bigger files and more stuff and have all these cool features, but you have to have an M1 Mac. That's when you're going to have to do it. Okay. You can't use an Intel anymore to get these features. I think that would be the biggest compelling one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have a 2-year-old Mac, you probably have almost all of these features. And remember, the only 3 that I know that I have confirmed that don't work are live captions. Who cares? Unless you need accessibility features, that's totally makes sense. Emoji support in dictation mode and reference mode for Sidecar. That's just going to be used by video editors. You know what? Actually, let's go.
I think 2017 is like, you have to have a 2017 and newer Mac in order to do Ventura. There's like some variations between like. the
That's a
mini-
4-year-old machine. Yeah, your Mac should easily be able to go 4 to 9 years. That's basically what we see out in the wild. Once you start getting into the 9-year range, you can't run the last operating system, let alone Ventura. So then you're kind of stuck. And then it's time to think about new hardware.
Mine's a 13, that one that won't run it.
You just don't run it.
It's about 13, 2000.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I see a lot of 2013. I see a lot of 2013 computers out there for some reason.
Still got no 9 running.
Oh, here's live captions.
That's better, I think, in 2017.
Oh, look, live captions in FaceTime. Your Mac will use on-device intelligence. Oh. Hi, my name's Scott. That's really cool. Spike, say something.
'twas brillig and the slidey toves did gyre and gimbal in the wave.
Yeah,
You broke out.
say something.
You have to
Harvey.
speak it phonetically, Spike.
This is beta. So that's interesting. So live titles, no matter what you're looking at, no matter what you're doing, that's pretty cool. Did it get turned off? Hello.
It's still trying to figure out.
Spike broke the beta. So we'll turn that off, but that would be really useful for people with hard of hearing or in just a crowded room on the airplane. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff. How long is this supposed to run?
I think once you wrap up now, Scott, if any last thing to either, that was on your list, or if you just want to summarize, that'd be great.
I don't know. Something's ringing at my house. I don't know where it is. Oh, that's, you know what? I think I set a timer by accident when I said,
It works.
sorry.
The world is.
But for
Zoom,
some reason,
people.
it got set up on my iPod mini across the room. I don't know why, but sometimes Siri has a mind of her own. So
Check the chat.
I think that's pretty much it. So it's not revolutionary. It's not the end of the world. I think they're changing a lot of the underbelly architecture of it. And I think Apple has a lot of plans. I think they're building an OS because they know where it's going to be 5 years from now. And that's going to be a lot of AI and a lot of virtual reality, but we'll learn about that all later. But I think they're getting there, and this is really the first step to make the iPhone and the iPad and the Mac all kind of seamless.